Hey, what is going on everybody? Bladecifer here, and today for you guys another video of Black Clover Mobile. And inside of today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about, of course, beating Hall of Illusion Stage 80. Now, this is something that I've been seeing a lot of you guys been asking about here, pretty much how you can beat it. And I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to beat it, who's some characters you can very well use, knowing a lot of us are probably lacking one character here. But, alright, let's go ahead and get into the video and just waste no time on showing you guys this here. Now, I already know when it comes down to this matchup, the main person that you want to use is Red Yami. But if you're like me, or either like most of us who skipped that banner at the very beginning, you either have him now due to other pulls, or either you just don't have him at all. Well, to do this, you actually do not need this man. In fact, you actually don't even need Mars, to be honest, if we're actually going to be actually honest here. But Mars will be a good asset. So starting off here, we're going to start with our defenders that we're just going to talk about here. The main two that you guys could possibly be using for this here just to have a smooth run is either Mars, or if you don't have Mars here, Soul. Now, the main reason that we're using these two units here is not just because the stun, because as we know, Soul does not have a stun here. It's mainly for the taunt. Now, with this taunt here, it pretty much is going to make sure Raya is going to stay on your case instead of the most of your other people's cases here, seeing that a lot of your characters are probably going to be a little bit squishy when fighting this man. So having one of these two built up is very good to do so, in which I'll tell you actually the gear to go ahead and do this with. Now, the man Raya does hit pretty darn hard, so of course we're going to need someone who's definitely good at keeping at least your damage resistance up here a little bit here, as well as fortifying you up, and that is going to be the man William. William is very much so needed for this fight, of course. You can use someone else, or at least try to utilize someone else in this team besides William, if you just wanted to try to live, but it's going to lower your speed here. You could add another defender such as Radies here, but I would definitely advise having William. He's kind of like the one person that you very well so do need here out of just the general SSR pool. And I would definitely suggest he's going to be good here because he provides a really nice buff, in which if you do have Sally's card here, doing that skill 2 is going to give you all attack as well. And with his ultimate here, he's able to actually help you out by making sure your team lives longer, giving you a nice fortify. So I would definitely suggest, if you have William, use him in this here, and we're going to have them two back to back with each other for very specific reasons here. Now, coming down to the next character that you guys are going to need is definitely going to be Noelle. Noelle does not need, let's get this clear, she does not need dupes. No dupes. You're good free to plays. All right, if you got her just from the gate, you don't got dupes in her, don't worry about it. You don't need dupes. Just make sure she is LR'd and level 100. You should be good for the most part. Because the main reason we're going to be using Noelle is just the chip damage for the most part here when it comes down to character, as well as her nice little barrier here, which is very good for some counterattacks, as well as just to keep your team safe. This is going to be your main little damage dealer. It is going to take you some time, of course, if you don't have dupes, as well as going to take you some time just damage scaling wise, depending on how built she is. But other than that, she's definitely needed for this. And then lastly, one of the few things that I would suggest you guys having is definitely going to be Mimosa. Now, the main reason why I'm saying Mimosa is not only just because she is a type neutral versus Raya here, because if I'm right, Raya should be, yeah, he's green as well. So she's already type neutral to Raya herself here, but alongside this here, she provides a nice res that we all stinking love, especially when we're able to use it. Not when other people use it against us, but she provides a nice res with some increased defense here, as well as just has overall amazing healing. And with this character here, you should be able to keep your team pretty much sustained and be able to chip damage your way all the way to the end of this whole fight. Now, if you don't have Mimosa, if you weren't lucky enough to get her, or you just didn't summon for her, you could very well try to use Kohano if you ended up summoning for them. I pray if you are free to play, you did not summon for them. But of course, you could also use Charmy. Charmy is very good for this, but you will need some really good gear, as well as make sure to have her skills fully upped if you did want to use this character, because she is type disadvantaged, so it is very much so hard to actually live here. But this is the optimal team that I would suggest you guys going ahead and using here. And the gears that you would like to be running immediately is going to be a full speed set. Could be speed and defense. I would definitely recommend speed defense to be your main thing instead of the speed thing that I have on right now. in which actually I am lacking on my, where are they? A couple of my rings and stuff at the top. I think one of the other characters may have them. It's probably my Voltos, but you want to make sure, of course, you do have just a speed set for the most part to get this done with, and that's pretty much all you're gonna need. Now, whoa, wait a minute, hold on, guys. I think we just froze for a second. Our game actually just froze. Whoa, okay. I don't know what that was about for a second, but okay. Let's go ahead and actually talk about our next set here. Now, for the next set for our defender, remember, if you're going to be using Soul for this as well as Mars, you could use the 3 set, which is, I think, like defense, HP, and speed, or like attack, defense, and speed. I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like straight up defense is great. The more defense you got, the more brick wall you can make this character be here, as well as definitely for Soul. You need as much defense as possible to pretty much make them a brick wall to the point where they will not die. I feel like that's going to be the best thing that you guys should probably do. So surely do try to focus on getting that up here, or trying to get that the best you can be. For Mimosa and Noelle here, pretty much just max them out with pretty much any type of magic attack here for the most part, in which you can use for Mimosa. This set specifically, if you really do want to do so, is attack, defense, and HP, making sure she's able to sustain herself. And then for Noelle, you can immediately go ahead and just use your best DPS set with a ton of magic attack here. And I'm using attack, crit damage, and speed. This is pretty much going to be what you want to run here. If you don't have those exact sets, of course, just get up the actual magic attack and you should be good. But enough talking with this. Let's go ahead and show you guys how it does here. Now, your main do, or at least a deal that you want to do inside of this, is immediately when it comes to these guys, you don't need to pay attention to them really for the most part. You can just go ahead and buff Noelle, and you really just want to get rid of them because, of course, you don't want to take any damage too much. Now, that's only if we crit, and of course, we only crit on one person, quite literally. But you want to pretty much keep everyone at full health. So at this point, let's just go ahead and knock this one a little bit here. Make sure our Mars is at full health here, and just get rid of the other two. Now, the main reason you want to do this is because Raya does an initial hit that is not able to be outsped whatsoever. As you can tell, we immediately took a ton of damage with our William here, and which I'm actually surprised no one ended up getting stunned, to be honest. But we took a lot of damage here, and you really want to make sure that if William dies, it's perfectly fine. Just revive him, of course. But you don't want anyone to be too low, or else that would be immediate death, and that can ruin your run. So make sure you have good enough gear to last through that here. Now, what you would end up doing is either using your skill 2 or your ultimate. I personally am going to use my ultimate, seeing I don't have William's actual ultimate up here since he did get stunned. We're going to use our ultimate to at least get that nice defense, and that should be perfect for us to at least live a little bit longer. Now, when it comes to this here, we normally are just going to go ahead and just not use our chain attack, but we're going to use it here to see if we can at least get a stun off. And luckily we got one on one of the enemies here. But as I did say, if you're using Soul, you're not going to have that stun. So mainly keep a taunt on Mr. Raya here. So what we're immediately going to do, we're going to buff up our William, or at least our Noelle here, get some nice chip damage off to get rid of these minions here. And then from here, we can just sit here and block. We can block, deal as much damage as we want. We're going to use our skill 2 to make sure everyone's kind of healed up here. And then this is where the stall comes in, because now Raya is really going to be a little bit of a problem. He has, of course, his ultimate up here, and our main duty is to make sure no one else gets hit with that. So if anything, try to taunt him. For Mars here, if you do have it upgraded, he does have a nice percentage on taunting here. And although it is very scary to do this because he can very well kill off Mars, if you do have a really built Mars as well as just defend gears, you can usually tank that pretty well. But we used our William ultimate here to make sure we at least get that nice defense up here, or at least that fortify. So then Mars pretty much tanks that easily. We can get another buff off on our Noelle, getting her back up here, and pretty much just repeating the cycle. Now, we're just going to continue hitting at least hitting our man Raya here, just to make sure at all costs we can kind of chip him down a little bit lower and lower while we're actually going to be taking out the guys on the left and right. So luckily for us, we took out one on the left. We just got to get rid of the one on the right because he does cause us to actually be taunted and is not one of our things we want to really deal with. Ooh, our whole team got taunted there, which is a little bit of a problem, but luckily for us, he should be just going ahead and dealing just some small damage. Luckily, we ended up getting rid of that. So let's go ahead and just try our hardest to get rid of the one on the right here. Now, the only issue that we do have is now Mr. Raya should use his ultimate again. So let's see who he goes for. He went for our Mars, which is perfectly fine here in this regards. We should have our shield again. And this was actually a terrible run, to be honest here. But when we have our shield up, boom, we immediately can get that back here. And now our only choice is to sit back and just heal. This was actually supposed to happen a little bit quicker on our healing side of deals. But we kind of got the worst of the worst for luck here, which was just our Mimosa getting absolutely chunked on here. So let's go ahead and make sure this happens. Get some hits in here. And I think our main choice is going to be reviving our Mars here. Because once again, Mars is going to be your jack of all trades. He's going to tank a ton of damage here. He's going to make sure you pretty much can live a lot longer. And of course, this taunt is what we really very well need to make sure everyone else lives. So he took that hit like a champ. And then let's go ahead and put on our shield once again. Bonk that on here. And we get to sit here and just tank this. Now, at this point in time, you literally are just chipping. You ain't going to do much to him really much at all. Just keep him taunted. Make sure everyone's going pretty much fine. And as long as you have a shield up, you're not going to die whatsoever here. So let's just go ahead, continue this process until we slowly get this man down. Now, William is mainly just to be here just like as a good little setup here at first. But of course, it is nice to actually get him back up as fast as possible. If by chance you can't do so, it's all right. Just make sure everyone is still kicking. So as you can tell, he ended up stunning our Mimosa once again. Nothing too bad here. Let's go ahead and use our skill 2, get that nice old heal immediately here, giving us that immediate damage resistance, which is what we really want. Once again, taunting the man immediately here. And instead of us ulting off rip, we're going to go ahead and use this to make sure he doesn't use the AoE. See, that's the whole reason we do that. So make sure he doesn't actually deal a lot of damage to us. And now let's res our man, William here, to try and give us that nice little boost. Now, as I did say, if you don't have freaking Mars, you don't got to go for the stun. You don't got to go for the stun whatsoever, which is why I haven't really been using it anyways. So your main deal is going to be this taunt. So we're going to once again go for the taunt. Boom. Nice defense as well. So we're not taking that much damage at all. We have our shield. We have everything going against in our favor here, or at least going with us, and we're slowly knocking this guy down. Now, we already know there's no way that she's going to get back up there because her mobility bar is kind of low. So let's see if we can get a stun off. Possibly. Nah, no stun. Unfortunate. But let's just go ahead and just smack him a little bit more. And at this point, you guys can see what's happening. Boom, he kills himself. Now, that was a little bit risky at the beginning because we did get kind of stunned a little bit in a row too many times, but it still worked out. Now, out of the times that I've ended up doing this, that was definitely the most riskiest one. Normally, it's an easy clear for the most part here, in which, yes, you are going to need those units in play. Now, William was literally just there just to help us out at the beginning and pretty much get everyone into that little cycle of pretty much a good set of survivalistic tactics. But if you don't want to use William, I mean, you could very well try to use Julius because he does have a stun built in. And I know a lot of us do have Julius ourselves as well. So if you want to take the risk, using Julius isn't a really bad idea, but you do have to make sure that whenever Raya does attack here, you do have a shield on, or else Julius is probably going to get crumbled. As well as whatever you're doing here, you got to make sure Julius stays alive. And if he does die, you need to immediately have Mimosa revive him. But that's the team that I pretty much ended up using to beat this guy with here. I'm actually going to go ahead and complete stage 85 tonight, so I can have a video out for that probably tomorrow or the day after. So look forward to that as well. But another thing that I would say, traits are going to be very much so important. As you guys saw, I was popping my little bit of shield off a couple times here. You want to have at least the cooldown trait on to make sure you can try to get that second cooldown as much as possible when it comes down to Noelle. So surely do keep that in mind. But without further ado, you guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button beforehand and consider subscribing if you are new. I do daily Black Clover mobile content. Sorry that this video was a little bit late. Work had me stacked. But till next time, everybody. Peace.